Hey guys, we're back to reading again. Let's do this, my lovelies. We're on chapter 3 now. If you haven't been with us, go to the last video. Alright, let's get it. Chapter 3. Hey, Sleeping Beauty. My head jerked, and I nearly fell over sideways. I grabbed the post I'd been leaning against, and possibly I drifted off while waiting, or maybe not so impossibly. Had I slept at all in the last 24 hours? Thomas, Tack, Russo was marching toward me, a slight kid with unruly black hair and penetrating blue eyes. He wore a kick-puncher sweatshirt and beige cargo pants, his camouflage backpack hooked over both shoulders. Out cold by the gate is not a good look. Tack shook his head. You should have grabbed a spot by the Wilson fire. Looks like those guys had a killer camp out. We're going to be late, I grumbled, stifling a yawn. No one will care. He smirked, slipped a fraction as he rubbed his arms, chasing away the morning chill. I spotted bags under his eyes as well. Honestly, I wonder how many kids will even show up. Pushing off the post, nobody actually knows anything. Not yet, and I doubt Principal Myers will suddenly learn to relax. Wait. Tack swung his backpack around and unzipped it, pulling out a lumpy parcel wrapped in Sunday comics. Dropping to a knee, he held out an ugly bundle. A loafed head bowed like a knight's wearing service. Please accept this token as a symbol of my undying pleasure at your continuing to be alive for another year. I bulged, my stomach brutally turning. Alive another year. Am I really? Tack glanced up, registered my discomfort. If not the cause. He rose quickly, cheeks reddening as he thrust the package into my hands. Sorry, I tried to find you yesterday, but... He trailed off with a wince. Tack knew I hated birthdays. That I spent them alone when I could. He just didn't know why. Tack was my best friend, and utterly irreplaceable. One of the few things I liked about Fire Lake, other than the scenery. I couldn't risk our friendship by telling him the truth. Couldn't stand for him to think I was crazy too. You shouldn't have bought me anything, I scolded. Every year I told him not to, and every year he did anyway. Tack's grin returned. If it makes you feel better. I didn't. I stole it. My eyes rolled as I tore into the newspaper. After I'd ripped through a near-seemingly ball of tape, a small I'm sorry, guys. I take meds, so towards the end of the night, my speech gets a little bit messed up, and that's when I like to read. So, if I stumble a bit, just be patient, okay? Or, just buy the book, read it yourself, or find another way to listen, but giving you an option. Plus, this is fun for me. Alright. My eyes rolled as I tore into the newsprint. After I ripped through a near-seamless ball of tape, a small cardboard box fell into my hands. Inside was a pair of vintage Ray-Ban sunglasses. Silver frame, reflective lenses. I slipped them on. They fit perfectly. A stony visage crushed my thoughts. He wore shades like these. I shoved that aside, wouldn't let the evil bastards shadow darken every moment of my life. Who cared if they were similar? I liked these damn glasses. See? There. Jack cowered, triumphantly slapping his hands together. Perfect. Who's the dopest Bella now? Mindela, Juilliard, Wilder. That's who. Shut it, dork. And don't triple name me today, or my mom will get jealous. Plus, I hated my middle name. It was the sole legacy of my father. Being named after a prestige performing arts conservatory on the other side of the country. Yet I couldn't dance, or act, or sing. I didn't even play an instrument. Another letdown, courtesy of the man I never knew. What's Virginia worked up about this time? Tax snatched the glasses from my nose and slipped them on. Something from yesterday. Did you offend Jeebus at your private birthday shindig? It was nothing. I began walking up the drive. I hated lying to Tack, but the conversation had strayed into dangerous territory. I wished I still had the shades to cover my eyes. Tack fell in beside me. You're right, we need to get moving. He handed back the glasses and hitched his pants. Our classmates wouldn't know what to do if the prom king and queen were late on announcement day. They'd probably crap themselves. I snorted. We hiked up the quarry Road, then started into town. A light breeze was rippling the lake, which gleamed like a sapphire in the heart of the valley. We crossed a handful of quiet blocks before hanging a left onto Library Avenue. Street names in Fire Lake are pretty straightforward. Place never got big enough to require creativity. NASA, NASA, really trope-doped business this month. Tack said, pointing a cluster of vacant condos near. Sorry, I'm pretty tired. Please forgive me, you guys. I'm so tired. I promised myself I'd read to you every day. So I'm trying. Condos near the marina. My dad had zero work. No tourists clogging their toilets. People are staying home, I guess, waiting. A trip to Fire Lake just isn't in the cards. Tack raised both palms, rounding his eyes dramatically. But Outdoor Weekly named us the best weekend getaway in the Rockies. What a better place to spend your last days on Earth. People can be so dumb, right? The worst. The hike to school usually takes 20 minutes unless the weather is crappy. That morning it was all sunshine and blue skies, with the temperature hovering around 55 degrees. A gorgeous day in the northern Idaho mountains. It felt like a prank. As we moved deeper into town, unusual signs of neglect cropped up. A busted streetlight, trash in the gutter. An Explorer was parked with its front two wheels in the curbs. Soaked letters on wheeled shelves saying, "You can have it, Sheriff." I was born in Fire Lake. I knew it heart and soul. I'd never seen anything like it before. The display felt fundamentally wrong. A tricked-out Wrangler rounded the corner, music thumping, a chrome gun crack welded to its rear. The top was down, and 3 shirtless boys were hanging over its side. "Oh, shucks," Tack sighed dejectedly as they tore up the block. "We missed our ride. I really wanted to flash guns today, too. I'd rather crawl on my stomach than hitch a ride with Ethan, new car or not." Tack shook his head. "Lay off me, dudes. We're going camping next week. Gonna really bro down. Probably get wasted. Kill something and eat it. It's gonna be lit." "Lovely. I'll be at the spa with Jessica and the squad." Ethan Felcher is the one who gave Tack his nickname. Though it didn't work out like he planned. During 6th grade, as a prank, Ethan and Nolan twins fastened Thomas Russo to a bulletin board by his clothes using thumbtacks. They left him hanging there miserably and humiliated until he was found by Mr. Hardy in the halls the next morning. The other boys began calling him Thumbtack. When Thomas heard, he immediately adopted the name as his own, refusing to respond to anything but Tack. Adults, teachers, classmates, not even when called on in class. He was Tack, and that was final. After a while, Ethan even tried to get him to stop, and Tack took a beating for refusing. A Boulder could take lessons in his stubbornness from that kid. Man, talk about depressing. Tack paused beneath the awning of Valley Grounds, our favorite coffee shop. A hand-scrolled sign was taped on its front door. Closed until God bless. His shoulders hunched. This end of the world stuff is cramping my style. We all might be about to die, but that doesn't mean I don't need my caffeine. They better reopen eventually, or it's gonna be a long wait until the big boom. I knew he was kidding, but the snark soared my mood. Forget next month, God. What will tomorrow be like if the news is bad? "You're probably rooting for a direct strike," I said, trying to play it off. "No exams." "But what of us, then?" Tack's eyes twinkled as he snatched my hand in his. "If the anvil is destined to flatten Ohio, I want to spend my last moments with you rolling down the hills like we did as carefree children. Such precious memories, like happy raindrops, doubled rainbows of..." "Oh, shut up." I shouldered him lightly, pulling my fingers free. The bump triggered a dull ache in my shoulder. I rubbed the half-moon scar under my sleeve. It always stung after one of my special birthdays. My thoughts darkened, snapshots of the attack I'd suffered strobing through my head. The world might be about to end, but what did I care? My world ended all the time. I stayed silent as we passed the library, reaching the old school zone at the end of the street. Fire Lake has one large campus for all 3 divisions. The 2 lower schools flank the road, which dead ends into high school parking lot. The spaces were mostly empty. "Told you." Tack absently stroked the bruise on his chin. I knew where he got them from. And we didn't talk about that, either. Half this stupid town is probably hiding in their beds right now. His expression darkened as he scuffed a ratty sneaker on the blacktop. Maybe they're not so dumb. Why go to school if you're about to be sentenced to death? I flinched. Tack misread me. Slid an arm around my shoulder. Why don't we meet up after school? His searching glance was thwarted by my new sunglasses. We can watch the announcement at Bedfellows. If the news is a thumbs up, we can probably score some free drinks. I shook my head. I promised Mom I'd be home. She's been carrying around her mother's old Bible all week. You know how she gets. Virginia is dead certain the anvil will smash directly through our roof. This is prime asteroid country, Tax said slightly as we cut through the parking lot. Space rocks probably feel right at home in the gym state. Our incinerated remains will probably be warm welcome. I couldn't help but shudder. There's a giant headline on CNN calling it a planet killer. They made a freaking gif of the world getting crushed. Who the hell wants to see that? If it strikes anywhere on Earth, the age of humans shall be no more. Tak spread his arms wide, the smile curling his lips, but I noticed his hand shook slightly. Even Tak Russo struggled to mock the legitimate prospect of elimination. He was as scared as everyone else. Everyone except me. I tried to make the asteroid feel real. I knew the anvil came from outside our solar system, a deadly ball of carbon, nickel, and iron, miles in the diameter, traveling at an insane speed of 300 kilometers per second, and that an impact from such an object would deliver a kinetic force of more than a billion hydrogen bombs. First spotted 3 weeks ago. It was just now passing the outer planes. It would strike or slide by in just over a month. Initial odds had been given as 1 in 7. A week later, that was revised negatively to 2 out of 5. In the last 2 days, some independent scientists online had moved to 50-50, ratcheting global tension to a boiling point. Thus, the announcement that evening, an official answer to "Are we all going to die?" question, less than 12 hours and counting. Yet, our little town had decided everything would go on like normal. School, business, public services. The leaders of Fire Lake had planted their heads firmly in the sand and were inviting all citizens down there with them. Surprising, most were going along with it, even me. I guess pretending everything is okay is more comfortable than admitting things really, truly might not be. Personally, I felt almost nothing. The concept of a world destroying a super boulder was simply too abstract for me. 24 hours ago, a man had broken into my mobile home at dawn. He shot me through the shoulder and chest, then twice more in the head. That was real. That was something to fear. Wayward space rocks, I couldn't get there. Maybe I was in denial. How about we get together afterward? Tak was refusing to take no for an answer. We'd reach the walkway to the courtyard and would hit a crowd in moments. Shine, rain or shine. Come on. If it's bad news, we can go hike out Old Miner's hut and discuss what to wear for our death by interstellar debris. Work on our hoarding strategies. I took a deep breath, nodded. If I can slip away. It's a date! Tak shouted, and then charged up the walkway, arms thrust toward skyward as he continued yelling, "A date! A date! An end-of-the-world date! Not a date, you maroon!" But I laughed. At least one resident of Fire Lake has something to cheer about. Oh. Okay. I'll do another chapter. You guys are lucky. I hurried to my locker before the bell rang. Head down. I strode quickly down the hall with my arms crossed tightly over my chest. I'd never be described as outgoing, but that morning I was aiming for invisible. One thing about me, I don't make friends easily. Ability to trust seems to be prerequisite for lasting relationships, and I'm usually short on the account. I rarely share things about myself. And that self-imposed isolation has consequences. Being honest, it's probably more than just the murderers. I know I see the world differently than others. I can be aloof. And at Fire Lake High School, where acceptance of quirks is always in short supply, that lands you on the outside looking in. I'd become comfortable. Oh! You all okay? Anybody get hurt? Oh, I was just trying to stretch out, be more comfy. I did not mean to knock y'all over. Let us continue. Where acceptance of quirks is always in short supply, it lands you on the outside looking in. I'd become comfortable as an outcast, relished it, almost. So of course, that morning, I got cornered by people I at least wanted to see. Hey, Melinda! Ethan called out, strolling down the hall in his letterman's jacket. He had close-cut blonde hair and a sharp-nosed face that was gorgeous until you realized what a prick he was. His small mouth was bent in a smile. He loved using my full name because I hated it. A handful of kids followed on his heels. My gaze flickered from the face to face to face. Ethan, Sarah, Hardin, her cheerleading BFF, Jessica Kell, and the Nolan twins, with their flaming red hair. Noah Livingston, Charlie Bell, Ainscars, and all. Toby Alberston. A group of widely charitable described as worst case scenario. I'd known Ethan since 3rd grade and we'd never gotten along. The others were okay individually, like it or not. We'd grown up in a giant puppy pile our whole lives, but they could be ugly when forming a mob. Which they were doing right now. Ethan leaned against the locker next to mine. Others fanned out varying degrees in interest. I'm sorry, you guys, I lost my spot. Give me a second. Okay. I have to do something real quick. I'll be right back. Thank you guys for being patient. I wanted to get a little bit different clothes on. That red shirt is a little bit uncomfy. Don't like it that much. So I just decided to change clothes. Sorry. Just readjusting a little bit. And you guys are falling again. Alright. Let's get back to the book, shall we? And Here we go again. I am so sorry, you guys. Oh. Okay. Okay. A group I would terribly describe as worst case scenario. No. The others were okay individually, but like it or not, we'd grown up in a giant puppy pile our whole lives. But they could be ugly when forming a mob, which they were doing. Right now. Ethan leaned against the locker next to mine. The others fanned out with varying degrees of interest. Sarah and Jessica barely spared me a glance, chattering nervously about the last announcement predictions. A school-wide beauty contest would rank them 1 and 2, though they'd knife each other over who got top billing. Noah hung back, scrolling his phone, a handsome boy with light brown hair and green eyes. He rarely spoke around me or much at all. His father owned a ski resort on the North Slopes and was the richest